Let me ask you this question. You rightly say, because that is the plan, to implode Europe, then implode the U.S., then call for this global receivership arm, and the countries waive their sovereignty. This is all admitted now. They're going to have trouble executing this because we've been here for decades warning people.
Well, and in fact, what's going on, too, Alex, is a greater attempt to marginalize. I'm a staff reporter for WorldNet Daily. We're continuing to write about this all the time. But again, the marginalization. You take a look at the extent to which, the New York Times, the Washington Post, even the major networks, including Fox, moving more to the left. There's an attempt to block out anybody who's going to criticize globalism, anybody who's going to say the bankers are behind this. And again, as I point out, don't miss the banking connection. The riots in the streets today in Tehran over the embassy being taken over, Great Britain, is about banking. It's about the fact that the central banks are trying to put discipline on Iran's central bank, and Iran realizes that's going to cause depression in Iran.
Well, we're going to break here in a minute, but, I mean, look at it today. New York Times likens Tea Party to KKK. Right. City audits Tea Party. I mean, they're coming after the Tea Party because even though it's got rhinos trying to control it, it is what the globalists fear. Right. And so meanwhile, they've got Occupy Wall Street that's their attempt to try to control and steer the debate towards robbing the state-robbing middle class instead of getting us out of globalism that is this bondage. Dr. Corsi's our guest. He writes for WorldNetDaily.com. Of course, our website's Infowars.com. Stay with us. Finishing up with Dr. Corsi. Regardless of which side you're on, I realize this is a lot bigger than Israel, Iran, the United States, England. It is these mega banks who openly finance the fake green movement, the carbon taxes, the world government, Newt Gingrich, all of it. They don't like a true free society, and they're our enemies. And all of these governments love wars because it becomes a political distraction. And I agree with Dr. Corsi. You're about to, I mean, the world is reaching the quickening point. Economically, all of it. They can't deny the depression, any of it. Doc, we'll have to have you back up for a full hour in the near future if you can do it to really flesh all this out. But you've got the bombing of the bases in Pakistan. You've got all this other weirdness going on. How do you see this playing out? You got cut off by the break. You were bringing up a lot of issues. I mean, the fact that they admit that this bill allows the secret arrest of citizens, but they say, oh, well, citizens are exempt, but we can then take that away if we want, and held for life in prison without trial. I mean, it's like waking up in a dystopic movie or something.
Well, I think, Alex, the point I want to get across is that the next 6 months you're going to see the EU, you're going to see the United States be violence in the streets. This is going to go back to the streets. And the intent is to push it into the streets, chaos. Because when chaos occurs, while a war, I think, also breaks out in the Middle East simultaneously. So you got financial collapse, you got people who are threatened, not going to get their pension checks, not going to get their Medicare checks, not going to get whatever from the government. You've got chaos breaking out in the United States. The EU will collapse. And out of this chaos is exactly the formula I think the globalists intend to gain more power, because it will produce fear. Well, people feel fear when they're watching on the television set every night, riots, uncontrolled violence. People are going to be willing to give up more rights to government control. We now move the bankers into the position. Take a look at who the new heads of state are in Europe. These technocrats. They're moving the bankers into positions of politicians running these countries in preparation of a banker takeover of the European Union. That's what's going to emerge from the chaos, because the globalists have not given up their dream of a one-world government. You know, it'll take chaos to create what they want in terms of a one-world government, and we're going through that chaos first stages right now.
And you are 100% right. That is the plan. We're now here, the real birth of world government, where they just go, yeah, it's authoritarian. Yeah, the bankers took over Europe through fraud. So what? The economist says they know best. Incredible stuff happening here. How do we stop them? I mean, I think we've already done it. For decades, we've known what's going on. We've exposed the program. And I think that they're going to have trouble. They may try to get it in place, but there's no way even an authoritarian secret arrest system is going to be able to enforce this.
I think we're going to get to a point where the United States is closer to breaking up than it's ever been. You know, I think we're at a point of going back to the 10th Amendment. There's some states, some places in the country that are just going to say no, don't want to participate in this anymore. The only way to deal with it is going to be to opt out of it, to say we're finished with it. You know, United States of America, go your own way. We're Texas, we're whatever state, we're going our way. Because it's going to have to be a situation of fighting against the globalists by not allowing power to aggregate
exactly
in regional governments and in banks, but getting back to individual control of our lives.
Well said. I mean, it's like this. The Russian people aren't bad. The German people aren't bad. They got evil governments. And America has been hijacked by these finance oligarchs and
who don't read the Constitution and don't care about the Constitution.
Yeah, and who hate it. And, folks, you're going to have to recognize this if America has any hope. Dr. Jerome Corsi, WorldNetDaily.com. Thank you for spending time with us.
My pleasure. Thanks, Alex.
You bet. I'll be on the radio tonight and TV, 7 o'clock, InfoWars Nightly News. You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join PrisonPlanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear.